Hello, everyone. Welcome to 360 Degrees Excellence, where we believe everyone can achieve all-round success. Today, I'm going to be having a conversation with Mrs Ife Olanrewaju. We're going to be talking about women and entrepreneurship in Africa. Mrs. Ife Olanrewaju is the founder of Foshizi Tours, and she's also the founder of Living Radiance Consult Limited. Living Radiance Consult Limited is into leadership development, consulting, and training. So she's a very good person to talk to us about entrepreneurship because she's someone walking the talk, and she's also into training. So I was going to be talking about other issues today. So without wasting time, let's dig in. So I'm going to be asking the first question from my guest today. I want her to tell us about herself, tell us every other thing I've not said, and where she was born. And so, Mrs. Ife, over to you.
All right, Prof, you have to cut me short once you see I'm talking too much, okay?
Yeah,
All right, great. Because I sometimes fall into that trap sometimes when I'm having meetings like this. Great. So, of course, my name is Ife Olanrewaju, as I've been introduced. I am over 40 years of age. I was born in Kaduna State of Nigeria. I had my schoolings in education in Nigeria before I entered into business. Well, when I say business, yes, I started working and then from there I started business. What else about me do you want to know? I'm married. I have a daughter. What else? I'm a Christian and I love God. All right, great.
That's great. That's great. Okay, you recently published a book.
Yes.
Bars with No Logs.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that book? Why did you publish the book, and what's the book all about?
All right, great. Well, the book came as a result of my experiences in business. After a long, protracted period of time, in the course of discussing and sharing my experiences, a number of people just brought it up to my attention that those experiences were not for me to keep. They were for the world to know so that other people could avoid the errors that I got into that made me to enter into the problem I had, which was the sum total of what the book is about. Even though in the book, I also had a little talk about my experience in starting business and everything. But the summary of the book is to help people understand the twists and turns of business partnership. I had a business partnership that went very sour as a result of poor approach of doing business. And it ended very, very bitterly in the sense that we parted on a very sad note. I had to part with so much money just to be able to regain my sanity. And so many things just didn't go well. And it was such a painful experience that I realized that many people are making the same mistake that I made without knowing. And before you know it, they will fall into the same error that I fell into. So as a result of that, I decided that it's important I put this book together for people to learn from my errors and avoid the mistakes I fell into. Why? Because number one, it was a family business, because that's what the book is about. This is the cover of the book. I don't know if it's showing, yeah?
Yeah, it's showing.
Okay, yeah. Navigating the Twist of Business Partnership. And it was about the family business that we did. We entered into business without proper documentation, without proper agreements, without proper understanding, without things done in the right way. So as a result of that, by the time where we became large, it was very difficult to manage and things went very bad. So the summary of everything, the details of what went down, they're all in the book. Yes.
Fantastic. Thanks for putting your journey into writing. I think it's very, very good for us to do that. I also want to encourage my listeners to consider writing. You know, I like seeing people writing books. I'm sure you're going to write a lot of books. And you're also into training. You attended John Maxwell's leadership training. Very, very interesting. I can see that you are a lifelong learner. And very, very interesting. When I saw your bio, you know, it was very, very interesting. And I'm sure that you're also into mentoring. You're mentoring young people,
Yes.
young
Yes.
ladies. You know,
Yes.
I'm happy about what you're doing. Just keep doing that. And you're also leading in your church. Yeah,
Yes.
I also saw that. That's very interesting. Yeah, but we are here today for very, very important discussion. We're talking about entrepreneurship and women in Africa. The fact is that Africa leads the world in terms of number of women that have their own businesses. Also, that if you look at the continent, about 56% of business owners are women, but they have a lot of challenges. They are not getting profit like their male counterparts. From your own experience, can you tell us challenges that women entrepreneurs face, and how do you think some of these challenges can be overcome?
I believe you're talking about Africa, or is it in
I'm
the
talking
world in
about
general?
Africa. I'm talking about Africa. I'm talking about Africa.
Africa, yeah. Well, the barriers that women had in previous centuries have gradually been broken down. And that's the reason why we can have a lot of women becoming presidents, becoming prime ministers, and holding very crucial positions in nations, which has opened the door for women to be able to fulfill our potential as far as much as possible. But even at that, in Africa, because of our culture and our preconceived mindset about the male and female gender, there's still in some, not everywhere, but in some cycles, this invisible thing about the fact that a woman can't get to certain levels of certain positions in some environments. And my own solution to that, or my own view to that, is that anybody of value, whether boy or girl, man or woman, young or old, can never be thrust aside. So for me, for women to be able to overcome the supposed barricades that hinder us from being able to get to the highest rung of the ladder, is to make sure that we are exceptionally valuable. Valuable in the sense that we are answering questions that are that we're providing solutions to problems that are very visible and need answers. We're answering questions that need visible answers. There is no way I would provide a solution to a problem that is facing an environment, a community, a nation, and my voice will be silenced. That is my own. So it's not about women just fighting that we want to be empowered, we want to be this, we want to be that. What are we bringing to the table? That is the most important thing. We must bring sufficient value that cannot be hushed. It is when there's not so much value that we begin to use the sentiments of gender and all that. But when there's value, you can't hush value. You can't hush value. I hope I've answered that question.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Women should bring something to the table. Yeah, women should think about what they have to offer. Very, very important.
Yes.
But I also believe that the society and every stakeholder should also support women. I came up with a report by World Bank titled "Profit in Parity," that women, although you have a lot of women into businesses, but they earn less than their male counterparts. And so it's very, very important for every stakeholder to support women, to know that for example, education, when women go to school, when we reduce teenage pregnancy, child marriage, it's going to be good for our society. And it's only in Africa, all over the world, people are talking about how can we ensure that the wage that we pay to men is also the same to what one would pay to female. I think it should be supported. You discover, you see a lot of women that are working at home, that one taking care of the kids, or even grandmothers. A lot of grandmothers go to Canada, to US to go and take care of those kids, and they don't pay them anything. Do you know what they do when they do all those things. But when we begin to realize the importance of paying a woman very, very well, it's good for society. It's good for the economy. Actually, another thing that I've also been involved in is empowerment of smallholder farmers. I also liken smallholder farmers to entrepreneurs because they have their own farm. They are able to sell some of their produce. It's a kind of mini business that they are doing.
Yes.
So I've been involved in empowering them, but we have also discovered that when it comes to empowering them, everybody has to do something. The private sector, the academia, the government, the NGO. It's also like that when it comes to entrepreneurs. We need to really support them. And but like you said, you must bring something to the table. They must be trained. A lot of them don't know what they even have. A lot of them don't believe in themselves. A lot of people that can bring something to the table are maybe those that are educated, but you have a lot of them that maybe they didn't even finish their secondary school. They don't even know what they have offer. So they must be empowered. They must be supported so that our world can be more prosperous. Very, very, very important. When I was also reading your bio, I realized that we went to the same university. You did IT, you did computer science, and you changed from computer science to tourism. And you're one of the 100 people in tourism in Nigeria. I think in Nigeria you're one of them. You are now, you've really made a name for yourself in tourism in Nigeria. And I just want to find out, why did you change from IT to computer science to tourism? And can you also tell us about the challenges and the promise and the potential of, and outcome of tourism in Africa? Hope you got that question.
All right. Okay. So let me. Yes, I got this. Yeah, it's two questions in one. So I'll start with the first one about how come from IT I moved into travels.
Yeah.
I would say that my entry into university to study IT, I wouldn't say it was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was just that I probably hadn't looked at so many other options of what I could do as at that time. The options of the courses we could do were quite limiting. And as I began to progress in the course, and of course I finished with a very good grade too, I began to realize that it wasn't my thing, that kind of thing. You just know that you are good in it, but it's not my core. It's not resonating with my person. And I knew I couldn't really figure. At the time I finished, I couldn't figure and say this is what I wanted or this is not what I wanted. But I knew that IT thing was not something I wanted to pursue as a career for a long time. So I started looking for jobs. Generally. I wasn't limiting myself to IT. And in the process of time, there was an opening for a travel agency in Abuja, which was where the story of my book came out from, as a result of a relative of mine who needed to open a business in Abuja and needed a trusted person. As at that time, I had just moved into Abuja like 2 or 3 years. So I was new from school, just barely 2 years after school, after graduation. And she needed somebody who she could trust. For me, I saw it as an opportunity to explore my desire to be an entrepreneur, because she needed somebody who would be the manager of the business, who will grow the business. So I saw it as an opportunity to let out so many things that I had already read in the course of my after graduation. I saw it as an opportunity to explore those things I've read in so many books on management, on leadership, and all that. So that was how I found myself in travels. And as I entered the travels, I just realized that this is something I kind of love. I never knew it existed. But entering it, I just found that this is something I think I enjoy. And from the get-go, it was something that I I actually gave my best shot. I think that's one of the reasons that I was able to stand out, to be able to even win the award of top 100 tour operators in Nigeria. So that was what made me to diversify from IT to travel. So once I entered travels and I saw it was something I enjoyed as at that time, I just looked at it. There was no point reinventing any wheel of maybe dusting my CV. I already had an opportunity to express those things that were already deposited in me. I began to run the office, all the administrative skills I've learned, all the books I've read on leadership, recruitment, and everything. I started exploring it. So it was like a good adventure for me. And I don't have any regrets entering the world of travel and tourism. Good. So
That's
I don't know
great.
if I answered that question
Yeah,
correctly.
you did that aspect. Very interesting.
So the second part is
okay. So I think it's a lesson to our viewers, young people finishing from university. If you study you can change. You can always change as long as you are ready to learn. Yeah.
Exactly. I think one of the things that stood out for me was I was a voracious learner. I was, which I still do till now. Of course, you can see from my profile. I was seeking information. I actually was working in a school. Immediately I finished school, finished from university. I was in a primary school, so I had time on my hand. So I used to read a lot. I used to read a lot of books on management, on business, on marketing, on sales. So, when you're just reading and you're not having an opportunity to let it out, because in school, my job role was just was stereotyped to the desk and certain assignments that were allocated to me. So I saw it as a good opportunity to let out all those things. So being an avid learner is key. Key on this thing. So
I agree
that's a lesson for young people. You don't have to lock yourself up in a particular mold. And even when you find something that you're passionate about and you lose steam, it doesn't mean that you have made a mistake. You can still identify other things that you can do. Like in the course of my doing travels and tourism, I've dabbled into leadership, I've dabbled into management, I've dabbled into trainings, which were things that I was doing in my business. So they have now become something that I'm doing as another higher level in this current business. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So the second question, do you mind running that second question through me again?
Okay. The second question that I want you to tell us about is challenges of tourism business.
Okay, the challenges
Africa. The challenge. Then I'll also talk about the potential, the challenges, that kind of thing.
Okay, the challenges of tourism in Africa. Currently, the COVID-19 has changed a lot of things, generally, not only in Africa, but all around the world as regards travel. But being that as it were, there are still opportunities even in the midst of everything. It's not a closed box at all, because inherent in every human being is the desire to explore new fields. So for children that are born today, they are still looking out. They will get to an age where they are looking out to know what is happening in that country. It is inherent in every human being. So travel cannot stop. The only thing is that the smoothness of travel has just been changed. The way travel used to be very smooth is now a bit rigid, and I'm sure we'll soon get used to it, because after 9/11, travel became a little restricted. There were a lot of checks in the airport, which we didn't have before, and then we got used to it. So now with COVID and everything, I'm sure in a few years, we'll get used to all the protocols of having to be tested, and maybe for people who need to get vaccinated before they travel and all that. Those are the little restrictions we're seeing now, because so many people who would have traveled naturally are currently a little holding back, because they are concerned about what's happening around the world with the second wave and all that's going on. But I'm sure once all these things die down, travel will return back to normal. Many tourist sites are currently closed because of this thing that is ongoing. But like I said, I know it's a matter of time before everything eases out.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you. In 2018, South Africa, realized about 18 billion rand, more than $1 billion, to GDP from tourism business, and it's employed about more than 100,000 people. But if you look at a country like Nigeria is not really, realizing the potential of tourism at the moment, And I think one of the reasons that we need to work on is security. When you have a problem of security, we have a lot of tourist destinations in Nigeria. I've been looking at, online, but we really need to fix that in Nigeria so that we can encourage people to come, to Nigeria. And another thing that I also think should be encouraged is people traveling from one state to other states, even apart from, traveling abroad. Because I realized that growing up in Nigeria, we didn't really have these this culture of traveling. But I think maybe it's changing. I can see with young people.
No, but it's now changing already. There's a lot going on in Nigeria. You don't want to know what's happening in almost every state. Their tourist sites are really coming alive. Like you said, I know government is working on security in Nigeria. And once security is guaranteed, I'm sure that local tourism, domestic tourism within Nigeria is bound and set to thrive. I know it's going to thrive. Yes.
Thank you so much. We talk about what can be done to solve the problem of tourism challenges at the moment. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this interview. But before I let you go, what's your closing remark for us today?
Well, great. I would like to close by saying that I'll use this Bible verse. I say, in all you're getting, get wisdom. For us to be to fulfill our God-given assignments, we need to keep our knowledge cup filled from time to time. And one aspect of my life that has enabled me to get this done is learning about leadership. Leadership, I understand, is influence, ability to influence the next person around me positively. Of course, there is also the negative side of leadership, but leadership is basically influence. And I've come to learn a lot. Leadership has exposed me to so many things that I wouldn't have known if I didn't become a student of leadership. Because what you're doing now is to influence the heart and mind of people who are going to be the viewers of this recorded program very soon. And we are agents of change in our environment. And for us to be able to change our environment, we must be able to cast the right influence. And casting the right influence is all about developing our leadership capability. So as we grow in leadership, leadership has a way of touching every aspect of your life. If you want to really be a good student of leadership, it touches every aspect of our lives. And having learned about leadership in recent times and being a leader in business, I have seen it play out every now and then, that my ability to influence the next person to me positively is what will be able to produce the kind of results that we're expecting. And in our nation and every part of the world, it's all about influence. How are we influencing the people following us? I would like to just close with that word, that every person who is watching this should seek and strive to develop our leadership potential, because that is how we can become the fullness of who God has called us to be.
Thank you so much. That is powerful. I do believe that leadership is all about influence. And I believe that everybody should be a student of leadership. Thank you so much once again for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this interview. And the fact is that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, whether you're a woman or a man, you must be a leader, because you must know that you're going to lead people. It's all about working with people. And if you're going to work with people, you must be a leader. You must influence them positively. As somebody said, Napoleon Bonaparte said, a leader is a dealer in hope, and you must motivate them, you must give them hope. Thank you so much, everybody that will be listening to us. And I'm sure that you're going to learn one or two things from what we have discussed today. Thank you. Bye. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much, Prof. Have a nice day.
Bye. Bye.